Need to get new staples. These things suck. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you're brand new here, welcome to the channel. Today's video is about shooting while moving. Let's do this. Also, save your bag. This thing is pretty awesome. It's the smaller one, but one flaw with it, always falls forward. Pretty damn annoying. Get the bigger one. Let's deal with the lighting. It's early in the morning. Sun is right there, peeking over the berm. Today's video, like we were just talking, we're going to talk about shooting on the move. So if you're a new-ish shooter, this is a gigantic time saver. Most newer shooters are not doing this, and I will try to demonstrate why you need to do this, why you need to at least practice it. You don't have to do it at your next match, but at least start to practice it. Dry fire is free, so you could do this all day at home if you want. So behind me I have a stage set up. Well, it's still set up from last week's PCSL match, but I threw up some targets. We're gonna try to demonstrate the difference between not shooting and moving and then shooting while moving and the time difference. We're not gonna worry about the hits yet. We're just gonna show the different times. So this is a smaller stage, so it probably won't be a gigantic time saving. But if you think about it, if this stage was twice the size of it and you needed to get from here all the way to the end to shoot your last target, this would be a very large time saver. So first quote unquote stage is gonna be standing in the back somewhere over here. We got that one target, got that target over there, and then that steel target. So it's just gonna be those three targets. All right, so first one, we're doing this setup because you have to be all the way back here to shoot this back target behind the barrels. So that's why I have it set up like this. Obviously that one is wide open, basically from anywhere in this shooting area. So that's not the point. The point is having to be here to shoot that target. And then you have to be over here to shoot that piece of steel. And we have this target right here in front of us, just sitting there waiting to be shot. I'm shooting from concealment just because I didn't feel like putting my competition belt on. And that's the only reason why. This would be the way most like newer shooters do this. So I want to do this first, then we'll show what happens when you move and do it. And like I said, we're not really worrying about the hits. I think no matter what, I'm just going to put one hit, one shot at that steel just to keep times even. Okay, that was a 5.22, and as you saw, the muscle memory started to kick in, and I almost started to move to shoot that one, but I had to stop myself. So 5.22, let's do this again, and we're gonna move while shooting that target. It's a 3.80, so over a second and a half in this little small spot right here. Let's run that again. So I'm actually gonna start aiming on the target and just tell myself not to move again, but starting back here, aiming on the target, and let's do that just to get rid of the draw time, and let's go. Stand by. There's a 3.92. We're gonna draw and shoot on the move. So a 3.92 is the time to beat, which is obviously gonna be spicy. It was a 0.64 first shot. I can't draw and shoot that fast, so let's move it here. Stand by. Bad grip, 3.46 with a pretty shitty draw. All right, now that the sun's behind me. Okay, now that we demonstrated this shorter one, let's demonstrate this other one where we have to shoot from the back again, but we have to move up. We got two more, we have an extra target. So 1, 2, and 3, and then we gotta turn over here for number 4. So this one's 4 targets, same thing, you gotta start in the back, gotta end in the front. Let's make sure we got enough ammo for this. Probably not. So let's switch up magazines. So this is gonna be the same thing. I'm gonna start with this one and that far one. I'll do this one 2 different ways. I'll do this one and the far one, then run up, do the mid-range one and this one. Then we'll do it where I shoot this one, then run up and do those 2. So we'll see which one's faster. So stand by. Okay, that was a 6.06. That was a 5.36. So that one was slightly faster. Could have just transitioned a little faster, but let's do the one moving now. I'm putting you guys in harm's way over here, but for good reason. We got enough rounds to do this. Shoot, move, and move. So 5:36 is the time to beat here. That was a 4:37. Let's do that one more time for good measure. It's a 4:56. So obviously making up some distance while shooting is going to be the fastest, but you do have the aspect of possibly missing shots or just not hitting your A zone, which, I mean, sometimes standing still I miss the A zone, so it is what it is on that. Something like a far target, that middle target that's pretty far back, something like that might be a little iffier for a newer person to shoot on the move. Especially if I was setting up the stage myself, I would probably put a no shoot on there just to make it a little bit more of a riskier shot. So if you want to move up while shooting it. But there's also, if this was also a full stage, there would be other spots to get closer to the front where you don't have to shoot that moving forward. But that's not the point. So when you're trying to teach yourself or learn how to shoot on the move, grab your gun. This is perfect for dry fire. You don't need any ammo. You can do this in the house. Find a spot on the wall. If you have a long hallway or something like that, this will work great. When I have a target, I'll usually put like a black paster or something in the middle. So first thing, just to see, put your gun up and just walk. Walk like you normally would and just see how much movement is in your gun. So that's the what you don't want to do, obviously, because you're putting way too much movement. The dot is going to be all over the place and it's unpredictable. So the way you want to start training this is get down, put a little like bend in your legs. A lot of people like to lean forward. A lot of people bend down like really low. Find what's right for you. Get a little bend in your legs. You really need to roll from the heel to the foot as you're walking. Put your gun on the target, get a little bend in your legs, and then do it. And then see how even that is. So I'm able to keep the A zone that whole time, and we could step back and basically just start moving faster. And you can kind of see what your limit is of how fast you could go. So while you're in your house or whatever doing this, you're going to kind of see somewhat of your limits of your sights and your grip and all that stuff on how wobbly your dot is. Some people try to time the shots. This is something I've never done consciously. Maybe I do it, but some people will try to time the shot to be in between steps, because when you're coming down on your next step, there's a tendency of your dot to dip a little bit. So I don't know if this is a thing or not. I might get roasted in the comments or by someone that actually does this type of training, that if you do this without shoes on, because I don't wear shoes in the house, so this is where I kind of notice this, on a hard surface, tile, hardwood, or whatever, while you're doing this, there's a lot of movement in your dot. So you kind of learn to be a little bit softer while taking your steps because there's so much movement in the dot. The main goal obviously is having the gun on target, being able to walk forward with minimal movement on the dot while being able to keep the A zone. This is something you're just gonna have to practice. Just dry fire the hell out of this. All right, so we got a pasted up target over there. I'm just gonna kind of demonstrate the two differences here. I'm gonna do one standing up straight and just shooting. Then we'll do one the way you should do it. So all right, so we dropped one Charlie. We got a few that are pretty low, probably from when we dipped the gun from a step, but overall not bad. Obviously not walking very fast at it, so that definitely helps the situation there. That speed I was shooting it for 10 rounds was 5:22, and I don't feel like I could have walked any faster to do it because that was kind of at the limit of my sights that I was seeing. So let's do it again, and this time we're gonna put some bounce in it, and we're gonna roll our feet a little bit more while we're doing it. That was a 419. Group was a lot more solid. I did dip one into the Charlie low left, and that was definitely one of the footsteps. But overall, as you can see, my cadence felt faster. It obviously was faster because the time was. I was able to walk faster, so I basically have the same amount of hits in over a second faster just because I was able to walk faster doing it. Now we got that guy right there. That's probably, I'd say, 25 to 30 yards. We're going to do somewhat of the same process. It's not all taped up, but we're just going to work on this target now because this is going to be a smaller target. We're basically just going to work our way up to the fault line or an empty mag, whatever comes first. But we're going to make sure we have some like low step and we're rolling our foot. So that felt good. I dropped 1 or 2 Charlies doing that, but as you can see the distance on that, instead of me shooting whatever targets were back here, if this was the stage, then running all the way forward to shoot that, basically was able to shoot that on the move going forward. It's 5.92 for 8 or 5.35 for 7 rounds, which I'm not going to remember, but I'm saying it out loud. Now I'm going to run forward to the fault line and shoot at the cadence that I would feel comfortable at shooting all these rounds. That was 6. That's 571, which I believe was slower overall from the 7 rounds, maybe not the 8 rounds, but like I said, learn to shoot while you're moving. That is my video about shooting and moving. Like I said, we weren't worrying about hits right now because we're worried about getting our time down. In practice, you need to be pushing yourself a little bit to progress your shooting. Doing something like this is good every once in a while to not worry about your hits. So we're not completely just throwing the gun around and throwing mics all over the place. We're still trying to hold ourselves to the A zones, but we are pushing ourselves speed-wise just so we know what that speed feels like and what we need to do to get to that speed. Just at least what it feels like to do that. Like I was saying earlier, you do not need to be doing this at your next match, but this is something you definitely should start practicing. You should be dry firing, get on some sort of dry fire schedule. I am guilty of not having a strict dry fire schedule. I used to be pretty diligent with it. I've been pretty lazy with it lately. I'll get in the mood where I want to do it, and then sometimes I'm like, I don't want to do this. When you're doing your dry fire, you just have to be deliberate with what you're doing. So find something you want to work on. Say I want to work on shooting and moving. So my dry fire, guess what? It's going to be all shooting and moving. So we have target there. So shoot, 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 shoot. And then let's do that the other way. Just keep moving in different directions, doing all your stuff. Make sure you dry fire the crap out of this stuff. Going over it again, as you're doing this while shooting and moving, you want to be as smooth as possible on your feet. So you want to get a little lower. Want to be a little lower, a little weight forward, get some bounce in your legs, and you're just going to roll on your feet. Do it as fast or as slow as you feel comfortable doing it. Then after you get comfortable with that, do it faster. I hope you learned something in this video. There are other videos about shooting and moving that are probably done by a lot more well-qualified instructors than myself. I mean, considering I'm not an instructor. But thanks for making this far. Go dry fire some stuff, work on this stuff. If you could volunteer at your range to get cool access like this at your range, go do that. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, leave some comments down below. Share the video. If you want to support the channel, we have some links down below for some merch and some other Amazon affiliate links. If you want to support the channel by not spending any of your money, just do the other stuff like that I just mentioned, and I will see you guys in the next one. Get out there, go shoot a match, go dry fire, and let's try to make GM together at some point.